Alright, let's make this quick, snappy, and to the point. Disney has recently released another crappy live action remake, and its name is Lilo and Stitch. Long story short, I really like Lilo and Stitch. The animation was visually appealing, the jokes were pretty funny, the characters were multi-layered, had compelling arcs and development, and it was a beautiful down-to-earth story about family. How even if your family is broken or if it has problems, you know what? I'll let Stitch take it from here.
It's little and broken, but still good. Yeah, still good.
And this is the same movie that has aliens in it. So let's see how badly Disney annihilated one of its biggest hits with this safely made, kid-friendly, more pandering, less controversial slop.
Want to listen to the king? You look like an Elvis fan.
Alright, let's catch you grandpas and grandmas up to speed. An evil mad scientist named Jumba Jukiba makes an alien experiment named 626. Its purpose is to destroy everything it comes into contact with. After he gets arrested, followed by an awesome breakout scene, he crash lands on Earth where he comes into contact with a little girl named Lilo and her big sister Nani, two humans who are going through their own sets of problems. And the problems in question is that since their parents are dead, go figure, they have to put up with each other. So throughout the movie, the three try to live together as a family, with Jumba, Pleakley, agent/social worker Cobra Bubbles, and later Gantu on their backs. And that's about it. Now that you know the plot, let's talk about how Disney fucked this up. Again.
Show us that there is something inside you that is good.
But first, some praise so that the babies don't jump all over my case like they always do. Stitch, the Grand Councilwoman, and a couple of other aliens don't look that bad, honestly.
He took the red one.
It looks big in scale, I guess. The human actors are They brought back Nani and Stitch's original actors, which is good. Stitch himself is kind of enjoyable to watch. Lilo and Stitch can have some admittedly adorable moments. I like the references to other experiments from the show. It definitely does something different with its ending. And that's it. Oh, and you better get comfy because the cons section, whew, it's a long segment.
You ruined everything.
Everything. Just everything. Like every other Disney live-action remake, the pacing is quick and they brush over certain things in the story or they just cut them out entirely. A good example of this is when Stitch breaks out of prison. In the original, it took 6 minutes. Here, it takes 3 minutes. And I think we know why they did that.
I am retiring you, Captain Gantu.
We don't see Lilo interacting with Myrtle and her friends in this one. Stitch doesn't read the Ugly Duckling story. They took away Lilo taking pictures of fat people for some reason. I don't know why they did that. And there are probably other examples, but these were the major ones that came to my mind. The jokes in this movie suck complete ass because they made it more juvenile and childish, like burping, farting, referencing TikTok, text messages, and stupid cringeworthy garbage like that. They also threw in Marvel-style humor, which is just wonderful. I thought that shit would have died out after Marvel stopped being popular, but here we are. Oh, and speaking of which, they gave an origin for Stitch's name. There's a moment where they're driving in this car and Nani says, "This dog is gonna give me a stitch," and then Lilo decides that's his name. Stitch.
Don't question it, just clap like the mindless seals that you are.
Dr. Jumba Jukiba.
Agent Blakely at your service.
The character designs on Jumba and Pleakley look like shit, and their voice acting isn't much better. And I know some people are upset that Pleakley doesn't dress in drag anymore, but let's be real, that shit would be way more stupid and unbelievable in live action than it was in animation. Then you have the controversial decision of making Jumba the big bad because Disney didn't want to fork over the money to make Gantu. Now, unlike some people who are really upset that they did this to Jumba's character, I personally can see the potential of Jumba being the big bad, but it ultimately wouldn't work either way, because 1, he's not threatening in the slightest, and 2, he's not even a bad guy. Yeah, he makes evil experiments, but that's about it. And when they try to make him a bad guy, like for example destroying Lilo's house, it just doesn't work. But if there's one thing I do agree with everyone when it comes to Jumba's character, why did you cast Zach Galifianakis? Look, I like the guy, don't get me wrong, but why him? Also, why did you take away my boy's Russian accent? Fuck you with a cactus for that.
And smarter than 100 supercomputers!
I also really didn't care much for their dynamic here, and they don't really stay within close proximity to Stitch most of the time. They're just off doing their own gags, and it's not even remotely funny.
Nice to meet you, Mr.
Bubbles.
Your knuckles say Cobra.
They decided to split Cobra Bubbles into 2, one that's a social worker and the other that's a CIA agent for no real reason. He doesn't even have a purpose to be in this movie because he doesn't interact with any of the characters in a meaningful way like the original did. He's just a heartless prick in this one. There's a pointless character who doesn't add anything to the movie, and that character is David's grandmother. Oh wait, I'm sorry. She does have a point, which is to reinforce a new message that you can still be family, even if you're separated. Like, get the fuck out of here, you old bitch. Oh, don't worry. I'll talk about that bullshit later.
Believe that!
It's all you! Not dead!
The music is pretty bad too, and it doesn't slap nearly as hard as the original, which is crazy because they took tracks from the original and just dropped it in here. The dialogue sucks, it's all tell don't show, the emotion is not as strong as it was in the original, it felt really hollow and empty. A good example is when Lilo and Nani are sitting in that hammock together, realizing that things are going to change for the worst. Yeah, I didn't feel jack shit in that scene, and I will say that Nani's actress does a good job singing, but that's about it. They watered down, no, that's not the right word. They waterboarded some of the best and most emotional moments from the original. For example, remember that fight that Lilo and Nani had after Cobra Bubbles left? That scene that was actually treated with sincerity and heart and seriousness, like it was actually emotional? Here, they treat it like a joke. There's no emotion behind it, and for some reason, they added happy-go-lucky music in the background. Like, why was that music there? There was no music in the original.
Why didn't you wait at the school? You were supposed to wait there! Lilo! Do you not understand? Do you want to be taken away? Answer me!
No!
No, you don't understand?
No!
No! What?
No!
They fucked up the scene where Lilo brings up Ohana to Nani when she's about to kick Stitch out. They have this slapstick moment where Stitch opens a fridge door on Nani's face, which is supposed to be funny.
Please laugh.
And then we get to this infuriating bit where she lectures her 6-year-old sister about how she needs to start living in reality with her and she needs to stop living in a fantasy.
Why are you trying to go against what Mama and Papa said?
Because we were left behind.
That's us before. It was rainy and they went for a drive.
I know. All that stuff sounds so nice. It sounds really nice to me too, but that is not reality. This is reality. And I need you to start living in it with me.
And listen to me, I could talk about this for literal hours. I could talk about how fucking stupid it is that Nani claims that their parents left them behind, which isn't even remotely true for those who've seen the original movie, but people on Twitter have already done that job for me. They also fucked up the beach playdate with David, Lilo, Nani, and Stitch. That scene had a lot of great character moments, like David letting Lilo surf with him on his board, seeing Lilo and Nani swim underwater together, Stitch trying to make his own sandcastle but ultimately failing, and him willingly making the choice to go surfing with both Nani and Lilo. But guess what? They don't really have great moments like that. They just water it down because this is a stupid live action remake where you got to make things worse for the remake from the original. I'm just rambling because Jesus Christ. Something else I just noticed that really pissed me off, they don't have that moment of Nani yelling at Cobra when he tries to take Lilo away. That was an emotionally powerful moment, and it's not even here. Fucking assholes. Again, there are probably other examples of them waterboarding really great moments, but these were the 4 moments that were really important to me personally.
Neither have I. Dad said Ohana means family.
Now it's time to talk about the thing that I'm pretty sure you guys really want me to talk about. How this movie completely uprooted and destroyed the theme of the original Lilo and Stitch by ruining Ohana and its meaning. Remember how the trio stayed together at the end, while also adding Jumba, Pleakley, David, and Cobra to their family circle? Well, guess what? In this realistic adaptation, Nani gives up Lilo to David and his grandmother because, don't you understand, it's best that Nani goes off to college so that she can have a life of her own.
Seriously? Ugh.
This is stupid.
All I smell is bullshit.
Yeah, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous that they did this. And the reason why it doesn't work for me personally is because this isn't shocking or surprising or special anymore. Disney has done this multiple times. They did it with Toy Story 4, they did it with Wreck-It Ralph 2, they did it with Frozen 2, and now they're doing it with this. Ooh, the originality is really off the charts.
Oh, by the way, I was being sarcastic.
And of course, you got the booger-eating dipshits that are going to defend this garbage by saying stuff like, oh, you didn't actually watch the movie because Nani didn't really have a choice and she didn't want to give Lilo up. And not to mention, even though Nani is going to college, she has a portal gun so she can see Lilo anytime she wants. Not only is that a bullshit cop-out, but it completely defeats the whole fucking point of the movie, but we'll get to that later. And finally, we get to the worst part of this remake, and it's its handling of Lilo, Stitch, and Nani. The Hawaii Trio, the protagonist, deuteragonist, and tritagonist of the original. Let's start with Lilo first.
Lilo, why are you all wet?
It's sandwich day.
First off, they completely removed all the weird aspects that Lilo had and just turned her into a generic little girl. Remember when she took pictures of fat people, fed that fish a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and has this weird looking doll that resembles her symbolically? Either they cut it out entirely or they watered down the significance it had to her character, and it just makes her even more forgettable, more generic to the point where you don't want to follow her story, and you just really don't care about her at all. And it's a shame because I really enjoyed Lilo in the original. Seeing her trying to deal with the passing of her parents while trying to get along with Nani better, but she was still outgoing, hyperactive, and bubbly. And I would say her relationship with both Nani and Stitch was really much more interesting to watch because she's a weird kid with weird mannerisms, which makes her interesting. Here, because she's so generic and bland, it's not even interesting to see her interact with Nani or Stitch for that matter. Even though Lilo and Stitch can have some admittedly adorable moments, most of their shenanigans are not funny at all. And as for Nani, she barely has a relationship with her because they trimmed down her importance in the story, which I will get to later. So yeah, our favorite little oddball was really handled terribly.
I call it Experiment 626.
His name is Stitch.
Next up, you've got Stitch. You guys remembered how they watered down Pinocchio in that 2022 remake, basically making him a perfect little boy with no faults or flaws? That's essentially what they did with Stitch in this one.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
The whole purpose of Stitch is that he's only made for the sake of destroying stuff, but after destroying that sculpture of San Francisco, he starts to realize that his life doesn't really have any purpose beyond that. Then, that's when he starts to grow fascinated by the Ugly Duckling book, hoping that one day he might have a family of his own that's looking for him, only for him to discover later that his true family is with Lilo and Nani. And not to mention, even though he is an alien that feels really out of place in this grounded story, they actually gave Stitch a character arc. He starts off as a sociopathic, destructive alien, but transforms into a caring and protective member of the family. Here, much like Pinocchio, he doesn't really do anything destructive or sociopathic because we don't want to upset the mothers who are going to take their kids to see this crap. And like I said before, because the Ugly Duckling story isn't in here, he doesn't really have any sort of character arc in this movie, making him as interesting as a fucking minion from Despicable Me, only here to cause mischief and make the stupid kids laugh. And much like Lilo, I really don't like how they watered down his development and character in this movie.
Are you the guardian in question?
Yes, I'm Nani.
And last but certainly not least, the character that really got destroyed the most, Nani. Now, I want to level with you guys for a second. Even though I really love Lilo and Stitch, I really love Nani the most out of the three. Now yes, she doesn't go through the most character development out of the three, she's still pretty essential to the trio. Much like Lilo, she also tries to grasp with the situation that these two are in. But I'd argue she got it the worst because she's thrusted into the role of responsibility over not just Lilo, but everything. But despite the hardships that they're going through, Nani always tries to put Lilo first because making her little sister happy is her top priority above all else. Going to the animal shelter so they can adopt a dog after hearing Lilo literally wish upon a star for it.
I need someone to be my friend. Someone who won't run away. Maybe send me an angel. The nicest angel you have.
Always trying to make sure that her sister's feelings don't get hurt, whether it's that woman trying to tell Lilo that Stitch isn't a name, or not revealing the truth that she and Stitch got her fired from her job.
His name is Stitch.
Oh, no, that's not a real name. In Iceland. But here it's a good name. Stitch it is.
Did you lose your job because of Stitch and me?
Nah, the manager's a vampire, and he wanted me to join his Legion of the Undead.
I knew it.
And yeah, she is a little rough with Stitch at first, but I'd argue most of her outbursts towards him are justified. And if there's one more thing I will give Nani credit for, it's that she's never grumpy or acts like her sister is a total burden to her. It really goes to show that no matter what they're going through, she'll always love her little sister. Now let's talk about how Nani got butchered in this movie. Throughout her and Lilo's interactions, it just feels like Nani sees her little sister as nothing more than a burden on her. They don't even show the lengths that Nani would go to make her little sister happy. Remember how I mentioned that she took Lilo to the animal shelter? Yeah, they don't do that here. Instead, it's David's grandmother who lets her go to the animal shelter. And I swear, the only emotion that Nani ever displays is bitterness, unhappiness, and pure stress. Instead of giving us the Nani we know and love from the original, they took the Flanderized version from the series, a stressed out, overworked young woman.
You can't keep getting away with it!
And even in those rare moments where they show Nani being happy, trying to get along with Lilo, like them trying to be more positive to each other, it just feels fake and empty because they don't really develop their relationship that much in this movie, and that sucks because their relationship was the heart and soul of the original. Here, it's just an afterthought.
I hate you with the dark fire of a million exploding neutron stars.
And not to mention, I still think her giving up custody of Lilo so she can stay with David's grandmother so she can go to college is fucking stupid. Because it basically ruins the whole conflict in the first place. Nani was on a strict time limit in the original. She had nobody to depend on. Here, it's like, where's the conflict? Why should I care? You could easily give Lilo over to the grandmother, since the grandmother has been watching over Lilo this entire flick. In the original, Nani made an effort to try to bond with Lilo, to try and stay in contact with her. Here, they don't have such a relationship. And another thing, Nani in the original actually believed in the phrase Ohana, how Ohana means family and nobody gets left behind. Here, she doesn't believe in that phrase at all because she wants to be set in reality. She doesn't want to live in a fantasy with her little sister, which breaks the movie even more. But hey, I hope it was worth it to make it more realistic. And I'm not kidding. The reason why the director decided to take Nani's character in this direction is because he wanted to make it more realistic, and because he thought it was too lucky that Lilo and Nani got to stay together at the end. Because, you know, ending on an uplifting note, that's too fake, you know? Subversion is the new popular. We gotta take it in a more realistic direction. I swear, this is another director that doesn't understand what the original was all about at all, and is just adding spins on it because, hey, subversion is cool, I like subversion, I want to be smart, please jerk me off and tell me how smart I am. Fuck's sake. I really hate how they not only ruined Nani's character, but also made her less important in the story. Honestly, I'd say out of the three main characters, she really was done dirty the most. Lilo and Stitch are just generic and bland, while with Nani, they actively ruined her character. Speaking of the two sisters, I really don't like how they messed up Lilo and Nani's dynamic. It was always meant to be a sister relationship, not a mother and daughter relationship. That is so stupid. Also, one more thing. They pull that fake out death bullshit with Stitch at the end, which is one of the most overdone tropes imaginable. Oh, and speaking of which, the finale was fucking piss. I fucking hated that finale. It will never hold a candle to the original. I'm pretty sure that goes without saying, but I needed to bring that up because I just realized I didn't even talk about the finale. Also, this isn't really a big deal, but I noticed that they kept reusing Stitch's old audio clips from the original movie as well as its sequel, which is really goddamn lazy.
And then it's little and broken, but still good. Yeah, still good. It's little and broken, but still good. Yeah, still good.
And they have no excuse to do that because Chris Sanders still does a good job playing Stitch. It's not like with Mufasa where James Earl Jones' voice is obviously not in its prime anymore. He still does a good job playing Stitch. So what was the purpose of reusing old audio clips? Why?
Because fuck you, that's why. Okay.
Does Stitch have to go in the ship?
Yes.
Can Stitch say goodbye?
Yes.
Well, we have another Disney live-action remake that pissed me off so bad that it's going on my shit list. And for those who want to know what remakes are on my shit list, it includes The Lion King 2019, Aladdin 2019, Mulan 2020, and finally, Lilo and Stitch 2025. This remake is terrible. It disrespects everything that the original stood for. It mishandles its characters, mishandles its themes, mishandles everything. And it is fucking wild that some people actually have the nerve to say that this is one of the better live action remakes. Get off the crack.
Hey Peter, just thought I'd check on you. Oh my god! Government came and took my baby!
Anyway, that's all I have to say. I'm done talking about this piece of shit, because regardless of how many negative reviews that this movie spawns from YouTubers, it's not going to stop the grandmas, the mothers, or the idiot children from watching it. As of recording the audio for this video, it already broke $300 million worldwide at the box office, pretty much surpassing the original. Anyway, I gotta go. I'll see you guys later.
Dad, fuck 'em up. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a Stitch? Trying to strike a chord.